I'm your host for today. I am from JB Milda, JB Dogs, Boys of JB IT. Uh, Let me introduce you to Professor Mr. V Ramgopal Rao, sir. He is former Director of IIT Delhi, Vice-Chancellor of IIT Pilani. My first question would be like, you are from engineering and research package. What path did you follow? Like, how was your journey and what motivated you to become an engineer? What interested you to become an engineer?
In fact, until my 12th standard, I studied in the Telugu medium in Kolhapur, which is from 180 kilometers from here, another Karnataka Lathur region. And so but that was way back in 1982 to 86 when I did my BTech. Many of you were not even born at that time. So, but after 12th stand, after my schooling, which was all in Telugu, there were about 7 or 8 colleges in the Andhra Pradesh region. So combined Andhra at that time. So I then got admission in Kaptia University, Kids Parangal. I did my BTech there, and after that I went to IIT Bombay for my MTech, and so that's where I could realize, my true potential. I could see how am I in comparison with other students from all over the country, because everybody was bright in the class. But I could see that, I am as bright, though I came from a Telugu medium and all of that. So initially I did not have that opportunity to go to IIT and all that because of that. But then my master's in IIT Bombay, made a huge difference for me. And then after my master's there, I even wrote a very good quality paper there in Journal of Applied Physics in the American Institute of Physics. So based on all of that, I got an offer to do PhD in Germany, and then I did my PhD there, and then went to US and did my postdoc, and then came back and joined IIT Bombay as a faculty member. So I think in at that time everybody wanted to become an engineer because that was the only thing that used to get us jobs, right? There was no great thought behind I wanted to become engineer because of this, that, and all that. Everybody was becoming engineer. I also became engineer. But then I think to me the real awakening, the real self-realization, all of that happened in IIT Bombay. Once I realized that I am good in research, right? Because I wrote a very top quality paper as a master student, which is not common even at IIT Bombay. Once I realized that my true potential is in research, then I decided that I should continue a career in research. And but once you decide to be a researcher, you need to do PhD. Therefore, I had to do PhD. So I think what is important is to know what you are good at, right? If you are good in maths, then you should choose a profession where you can use that interest in maths, that passion for maths, or some first as a career option. And if you are good in chemistry, they should again use that as a career option. So I think all of us need to realize what we are good at, right? At some stage in our career. For some, that happens early on. For some, it happens a little bit later. For me, that happened in my master's at IIT Bombay. And I think, but that's very important. Otherwise, doing something where your heart doesn't lie, right? You will never be able to succeed, and you'll never be able to do anything great. You will still live a life, but it will be a very ordinary kind of a life.
Yes, sir. Endorsing me very inspirational. Uh, Carrying on, you have led very prestigious institutions like IIT Delhi, and now you're currently leading the greatest and like the most vast institution in our BITS Pilani. What is the piece of advice would you give to the JVITians for the academic excellence and academic leaderships?
Think, you need to keep an open mind. The problem with many students is the FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. If everybody is doing computer science, you also want to do computer science. And if everybody is taking up a certain kind of a job, you also want to take up such a kind of job. I think, a whole generation of students today actually lack their self-confidence. That if so many people are doing that, let them do it, but I want to pursue this like that, that kind of confidence we don't see among the many in the current generation, which is where things actually go wrong. So as a result, because of that herd mentality, because of that fear of missing out kind of a factor, everybody just follows the same path, and whether they are interested, not interested, good or not good, but just because you are following a certain path, many people don't even realize their full potential. Now, some of them may have done great things in other sectors, but since they haven't listened to their heart and they were just following blindly what others were doing, a whole generation of talent we are losing out right now in the country. I think that's the biggest problem. So my advice is, it's okay. The BTech is a first degree. Everybody wants to do BTech, but it's not the last degree, right? Just the beginning of your career. But at least, during this phase of your career, you need to realize what you are good at, what you think interests you. And then at least, beyond this now, you should actually follow that path, right? I mean, that's when, great things will happen for the country. And if you like, for example, creating products, right? Then you should become an entrepreneur. And if you are a people's person, right, you should maybe become an administrator in certain jobs. I think everybody has certain skills. Not individuals are alike, and I think choosing the path which suits them, right, based on their inherent abilities. All of us are gifted in some way, but I think because we don't realize what we are good at, I think the nation also loses on so much of that talent. I think my advice is to keep an open mind, look for your interest, develop a passion, and then pursue that as much as possible.
It was very helpful for us, sir. As you all know, the booming technology AI, what are your views on AI? Will it really replace humans? If so, how JBIT and or like every student has to tackle AI? What skill set should they prepare? How should be ready? How should they be ready for the world?
AI is going to be very important, whether you are pursuing a career in biology or engineering or medicine in any sector. AI is going to be quite disruptive, right? But AI will not replace people, but people who use AI will replace those who don't use AI, right? I mean, so by using AI now, my efficiency will be so much better. No, I can do certain things much better because I'm using all these tools effectively, and I will easily replace somebody who doesn't know how to use them. So therefore, in whatever sector you may be, you need to enhance your skills by using the AI. And that's the reason why even in BITS now, every student, irrespective of what branch you do a minor in some of these technologies, AI, the large language models and all of that, so that in every discipline, right, you are exposed to these tools and you use these tools effectively, you become better than others, and then you can pursue a career, and your efficiency will carry you much farther than somebody who is not able to use the AI. So I think everybody should learn these tools. Everybody should know the potential of these tools, and some of them, who are good in that, right, can also use these tools for new startups and all of that. The platform technologies are all now available. They require huge investments. Many of these companies are now talking of trillion watt kind of plants, right? The data forms they are talking of, not gigawatts of energy anymore, trillions of watts, terawatts of energy right now. So that kind of infrastructure not be available in India. So therefore, using these tools, right? What kind of application areas can you develop? Can Chat GPT help a farmer in a village? And can you build a startup, around Chat GPT, which is for the Indian farmers? Can you use that for the medical doctors, right? So these are the places where you can build unicorns, that application areas, and that is a huge opportunity for Indian youth now in terms of using these tools for developing future companies. The application areas, it so many diverse kind of fields right now.
As you an entrepreneur, what footprints should JBITians follow to become a successful entrepreneur?
The first thing is to ask questions, right? And question everything, doubt everything, right? That's what is very important. If something is bad, the question to ask is, why is it bad, right? So everything starts with why, right? Why is it bad? Why can't it be done better? Why is it, not happening the way it should? I think that is how the entrepreneurship journey starts. And once that happens now, you need to, build a team. You need to have the patience to actually develop something, which people would like to buy. And then you also need to build a group. You need to raise funds, right? For that, you need some networks. But fortunately, in India, now there are many government of India schemes which are willing to fund startups. If JBITians have any great idea, approach me. In BITS Pilani, we have enough money to support at least 100 startups. Now, through alumni and others, we have been able to create a fund for a few $1 million now, and we would like to support good ideas, all over the country. And for funding is not the problem. That idea is the problem. But how will you develop new ideas? Like I said, you need to be able to question and think everything very critically. And also that exposure, right? Every day, if you just sit in your room and then go to the class and come back, you're not going to think of any great idea. So you need to go out of your comfort zone, put yourself in uncomfortable situations, go and talk to a small shop vendor, right? Find out what are the small shop vendor, what his or her problems are. Now, how can you help that vendor, right? So, but these things, don't come naturally right now. In a day-to-day kind of a thing, we do the same things every day. Therefore, no magic is going to happen suddenly one day. So you need to go out of your comfort zones, get into places, talk to people who otherwise, you don't talk to, right? That is when, some new thought processes trigger, some new ideas will come, and, you need to pursue those ideas. And then, with the help of teams, with the help of many, people who are willing to support you, you can take that journey forward. I think, but the future is all about, new startups. And India, is third largest in the world right now when it comes to startups. But in the technology areas, we don't have enough startups. Most of these startups you see are all what I call the business model innovations, more like the aggregation model, right? Somebody is aggregating restaurants, like Zomato, Swiggy kind of a thing. Somebody is aggregating trucks. Somebody is aggregating dobies. Somebody is aggregating carpenters. That's okay, right? But the new age startups need to be based on a technology, right? Can I solve that security problem at the import, right? For those kind of things, with a BTech degree, you cannot do anything, right? You need to pursue higher education. You need to pursue a field, where you can learn something. The quantum, the future is all going to be quantum technology. In a BTech, no institute will teach you quantum, right? All of that you need to do a PhD. Therefore, that is what I said. I call the patience in doing something. After BTech, you can take up an IT job, you can do some business model kind of a startup and all of that. But if you want to do real technology innovation, you need to pursue higher studies from the best places in the country or abroad, and then keep your mind open, right? Doing a PhD does not mean you have to become a professor, right? It's never so, right? Doing a PhD is to become expert at something. And now use that knowledge you gain as part of that program, apply it to a real world problem, right? That is where you will generate, a lot of wealth for the country and for the world. And therefore, I think it's important to, pursue higher education and go beyond the ordinary, right? When it comes to startups, look at more technology innovations, look at more product innovations, right? In quantum technology area, in biotechnology, or in cognitive technologies, in all of these disciplines now, there is so much of scope to do new things, but that will require higher levels of learning. So with a BTech degree, even from IIT, you would not be able to write. You have to pursue higher education and learn these technology areas, and then apply that knowledge to something, which is a real problem in the society, to build the future or new age company.